Well, I want to respond to the talking Safa. Those are great points that she made, and I love the comment that she made about Zimbabwe. That's a beautiful comment. And what that quote from Robin Mugabe highlights is that South Africans is that a lot of the times because of our because South Africa is adjoining Zimbabwe and we share a border, people take there's a bit of a gray area where people think that we're the same, we're not the same. But the fact is, South Africa and Zimbabwe are two different nations, two sovereign nations that have their own constitution, their own laws, their own history, and their own way of doing things. And Zimbabwe shouldn't interfere into the internal affairs of South Africa, and South Africa shouldn't interfere into the internal affairs of Zimbabwe. So you can't ask like the previous caller Shingi, and I hope I hope Shingi's listening. What Shingi said was that the ANC views ZANU-PF as a sister political party, and they are the ones who are tiptoeing around the issue of Zimbabwe. And my response to that is no, we can't be involved in Zimbabwe's issues. Zimbabwe needs to solve their own issues. You can't say that South Africa is simply standing there watching, not doing. No, it's not our position to. What we should do is that South Africa should take care of its own people, grow its economy, and build the brand of the South African country. People from Zimbabwe must do their own, must do their own thing. If Zimbabwe goes astray, that's your issue. Solve your own issues. But what I want to do is that I want to speak about the solutions for South Africa, right? The solutions are that number one is that we should build borders, fortresses around the Mozambique and the Zimbabwe, Mozambique and Zimbabwe borders, because those are the two countries that are giving us the most headache. Not Botswana, not Namibia. Personally, I wish if we would ever unite with a country, I wish it's Botswana and Namibia for us to become one country, not Zimbabwe, not Mozambique. That's number one. We need to build strong barricades, the kind of barricades that they have between North and South Korea. Those barricades have landmines. Those barricades have long walls. They even have armies patrolling around these borders. Those are the sort of borders that we need. Number one. Number two, I believe that us people who aren't in government, we can be referred to as civil society, need to engage and persuade government and all other institutions, all other stakeholder institutions like your Home Affairs, your police, and all other relevant institutions for us to pursue the illegal immigrants and deport them, right? And deport these illegal immigrants, right? Number one, we should assess of the immigrants who are the ones who give us the most headache. In my opinion, it's Nigerians, right? So what should happen with Nigeria is that we should ban access of South Africa to Nigerians, and only the ones that we need should come here. That's my opinion, right?
Okay.
And also, as wait, my final point is because South Africa has such, as we know that South Africa has a lot of has a lot of professors who've worked for many years in the South African government. Maybe if Zimbabwe was serious about changing the situation around, maybe they could employ senior, experienced government officials into the Zimbabwe government so that they can also have a positive effect on if they are serious, right? The final one is the main reason why Zimbabwe finds themselves in the situation that they find themselves in is because they were placed under sanctions from the UN because they took away land from the white owners. Why aren't the Zimbabweans speaking about somehow recalling the whites who ran away from their country and somehow giving them back the land? And after having that agreement, go and persuade the UN to take down the sanctions. Why aren't they having those conversations? Why aren't those conversations being had? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to open for Sebastian.
Ziki, can I add a little bit, please?
Just hold on, bro. Just hold on. Can I say something?
Okay.
So
wait, I want to see who is. Okay, Sebastian, go ahead.
Okay, so what Rez is saying is actually what I was thinking, and I support his statements on the whole border issue thing. And I feel like we should go further with the whole border instead of building a wall, which definitely South Africa cannot afford. We have to do what North Korea did and put landmines there. That would deter anybody from trying to enter the country legally. It would be radical. It's very radical. I think the other solution that is also going to be very radical, and I think it's something that us as South African youth we should push for, because I mean there's a lot of guns roaming around in South Africa that are just being used on. We using it on ourselves. Why
Okay,
don't
so
we use it for
sorry, Sebastian, to cut you short. There are some
yeah.
words that you shouldn't mention in many times on the stream
Mm.
to do with
Okay,
weapons,
okay.
to do with all those kind of stuff. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Then let me just say we should just issue a policy of regime change in Zimbabwe. This should be spearheaded, maybe because the government won't do it, the youth should do it. And Zimbabwe youth should do it too, because I mean they have access to all the resources in South Africa. If we look at stats of our prison system, those stats just goes to show, and the type of crimes that are being committed goes to show that Zimbabweans do have the resources to actually activate what is regime change in their own country. We should just be supporting them in that issue, and that's a very radical issue. But I think in that way, when you go for regime change, you need to have somebody who's willing to step in, just like the coup with Mugabe. They had the army already had somebody, which was Mnangagwa. He was already ready to become president. They had him. He was in waiting. The coup was initiated. They already had somebody in waiting, and he's president today. So I feel like the best person, and we need a puppet. There's no such thing as we don't need a puppet. We need a puppet in Zimbabwe. It's the only way the sanctions will be lifted. It's the only way trade will be initiated. A big, and places like China would support the the people, because China supports the people, and not only China, America would do it, Britain would do it, because they would be because there's something they always wanted. The main reason the sanctions is because they've always wanted regime change. It's not something that is going to be new to them. So just the fact that the youth initiate themselves would be a better thing for them. And this way, for them to have a puppet, and the puppet, we can already see who the puppet is. That's going to be Chamisa. Is a perfect candidate to be puppet in Zimbabwe. So we need to, I think, support such radicalism, and in that way, people, the whole government system will change Zimbabwe. That's what I'm saying with regards to radicalism in Zimbabwe, because there's no other way it could be any other different, because nobody will vote ZANU PF out. They have the power. They control ZEC, Zimbabwe Election, what is this? Elections Commission. They control the broadcasting. They, they control the narrative, everything. So the only thing is we should be more harsh on them, so that South Africa could eradicate the problem, and not only Zimbabwe for that fact. We have to be very strict with our borders. We have to be like apartheid if it has to be, because some policies of apartheid work, no matter how us as black people can be looking down on the whole issue, but they work. If 21, if policies can work for 21% of the population the way they did, then what's stopping them from working for 80% of the population or 100%? So that's what I think we should be pushing for. We should be radical in this whole thing. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to remove you from the stream so that I aid others. Now I'm going to open the mic for Azania. Go ahead. If
Ziggy,
you are
can I?
not in the stream, I'm afraid I will have to remove you so that I'm going to open the mic for Bullet so that they can give their contribution,
Yeah,
and I'm going to remove them. Bullet, go ahead.
yeah. I just wanted to say that Lesotho, we have had problems with Lesotho nationals because they always carry guns, and they also are involved in illegal mining. So all the energy is going towards Zimbabweans. I'm asking myself, uh, why isn't the same energy going towards Lesotho nationals? Is it because we have a large population of Basotho in South Africa? That's my point. And another thing I wanted to add, you remember I gave you some solutions that I suggested. So I forgot to talk about community policing forum that is endorsed by the government. where they patrol the streets and our infrastructure at night to protect the infrastructure and to protect the locals, even foreigners who are living within our community. And my third point is that Europe and USA have been struggling with this, and the approach that my fellow South Africans are taking is the same approach that Europe and USA has been taking. It's not working between Mexico and USA. Even the thing that Trump built, the people still got a way of passing through. It hasn't been working. We are going to talk about this for many years. That's what I'm saying. And coming back to my point is that the squatter camps should be taken down. Uh, Foreigners should rent within the townships. Uh, Hijack buildings should they should take out people who are selling drugs there, and they should rent it out to foreigners, specifically women and children. And then foreigners who are accessing our public health sector, their government should be charged, or the foreigners will contribute something, because we have to be honest, they are working, most of them are gardeners or are helping in the house. So when we take this approach of saying build land mines, so that Zimbabweans don't enter. We have to know that after we do that and we succeed in preventing Zimbabweans from entering our country, it will affect our Africa too. That's the first point. And the second point is that uh, one day, when the same thing happens to South Africans, other Africans will remember we are treating them bad. I know it's painful that our people are dying in the hands of illegal migrants, but we have to act as sober people. Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bullet. I'm going to ask in Nobizile. Nobizwe,
Yeah,
sorry.
good evening, good evening, good
Good
evening.
evening.
Yes, I will try to be brief, right? My name is
Okay.
Mr. Ngube, right? What is happening is South Africa has got a problem, right? This problem didn't start today. It's been there for decades, you see. So now when people are only realizing it now, they want to act out of anger because they are right. They are right because definitely South Africans are suffering. But the major problem is what they are doing now is not the solution. There is a lot of things happening on the ground. You see, there is a lot of criminal activities happening on the ground, not by Zimbabweans. You understand? By many people which are locals and other foreign nationals, including Zimbabweans. Okay, when we talk about the border, tightening the border, there are people working at the border who are supposed to be guarding the border. They can make it that people don't come through if they are not documented. But people are passing, people have got the notion of saying they think that people are coming in through crocodiles. There is no crocodiles, guys. People are paying 100 rands per head to enter at the border. Those ones that are guarding at the border, that are supposed to block the people at the border, they okay. What is happening is people are living under a survival mode, right? Not only at the border is where the problem is, even at Home Affairs itself. Now people are talking about documented foreign nationals. How are they documented? Because we know this is a fact. We know there are many Zimbabweans carrying South African birth certificates, carrying South African IDs. Ne? And there are many Nigerian nationals, there are many foreign nationals, not even limited to Nigerian and Zimbabweans. But those foreign nationals, they've got documentation. So now when we say legal immigrants, we are talking about people, some of them who attained those documents fraudulently and are committing heavy crime. Those ones are not charged, they are called illegal. But there are some people who are called illegal, not because they want to be illegal, but even if they go to Home Affairs, they don't get the help. And those ones are innocent people who are working. Okay, even if those people they come out of those domestic works and they get deported, how do you expect somebody to move their furniture from South Africa to Zimbabwe? Because these people have been here for more than 20 years. Here, they have actually settled here in South Africa. They have got children and grandchildren here in South Africa. So what I'm trying to show the people is we have got a big problem. The politicians were supposed to address the problem from the word go. It's not like they didn't know. They knew from the ministers, from the president, they knew. It's unfortunate that I myself, I've got evidence. I myself, I spoke to them at some point. I wrote them emails. I told them that people will rise, people will be angry. Solve out these things are getting out of hand on the ground, but nobody was listening. Now, let me tell you what will happen in South Africa. The only solution is that the South Africans, they must not fight anyone, but they must join hands with the other people and identify the problems on the ground so that they can be solved. Even if you chase out the undocumented Zimbabweans, still those that are documented, that you call documented, some of them are criminals. Most of them, they've got these monies, they bribe everywhere. It's like, for instance, drug dealers. When you talk of drug dealers, those people are driving latest cars, Mercedes, BMWs, always full tank, right? You don't touch those people, because if you catch him, you will take out a document that is legalizing him to be in the country. You say, this one is a legal immigrant, we're not going to touch him. But he's a big drug dealer. He's giving drugs to the people. So I say, if we don't address the issues as they are, what will happen is people will rise and people will fight. Even if you say Zimbabweans must go to Zimbabwe, there are problems there. And there are no jobs there. When I say no jobs, I mean no jobs. People will go and sit at home and die of hunger. So people will say, let me just sit in South Africa. If I die, I die. And you will kill them, I'm telling you. You will kill them. Before the guy died there before the guy died in Deep Sloot, I warned the people that are marching. I said, you know what? You don't need to go there. It's either you will kill people or people will kill some of you. Sit down and come up with a strategic plan on how to solve the problems, because there is a big problem and no one is addressing it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to open for Josie.
Yeah, greetings everyone. Look, for me, I think we must just be honest with each other over here. If you've come into the country illegally,